Hello everyone, I'm Tom Craran, the partner responsible for the Cities of Opportunity Research, which we're now into our 6th report. And I'm here with Bob Moritz, our chairman and senior partner, who has kindly been the sponsor of it for a long time and knows it well. And I just want to talk to Bob a little bit about the results because we've done some interesting things this year. So the first thing, Bob, is how does this fit with, we hear about urbanization and the mega trends. How does the city's research fit with that?
Oh, I think it fits very nicely with the concept of megatrends with maybe 2 points to bring to life. First off, when you look at the major cities around the world, they're proxies to what's happening from an economic perspective, a social perspective, a political and a policy perspective. And second, when you look at the concept of urbanization, people moving from rural areas, suburbs into cities, which is a major trend that we're focusing on, it's the realities of what we are dealing with today and candidly going to be a trend that we're going to be dealing with for a long time.
So fair to say it's going to affect our business and probably every other business as well.
Without a doubt. And again, this goes to both businesses, it goes to politicians as they think about what's happening in their cities or maybe even the surrounding areas where you've got flow of people coming back to that mega trend called urbanization. So
you've seen the report. What stands out for you?
So a couple of things stand out. First is obviously London ends up being #1 this year. Beats out New York, which has historically been there. The second thing that comes through is though the top 5 or 6 cities, there's not a lot of difference between those at the top end of the range. And again, it's a balancing act in terms of how do we think about the issues that drive economics and ultimately this prosperity of a particular city versus the quality of life issues. And the cities that get that right are the ones, no surprise, that are rising to the top of the survey that we have this year.
But what story do you pull from looking at U.S. cities?
The U.S., interestingly enough, when we talk about this concept of urbanization, some people may think it's outside the U.S. The reality is it is very much inside the U.S. when you look at what's happening around the country. But when you look at the concepts of education, look at the concepts of innovation, look at the concepts of sustainability over time, all of those concepts come through at extremely high levels for the cities in the U.S., which comes back to this concept of huge opportunity for people and ultimately then a huge draw for where investment will be and where people will want to be from a career path perspective and from a personal perspective.
We've obviously seen a lot of sort of dynamic changes in Asian cities. What stood out for you with them?
Well, clearly Singapore stands out. Singapore has historically moved and continued to move towards being a center, a financial center, for lack of a better word, within Asia. But the reality is Singapore also came through very strong from an economics perspective, but in addition to what I'll call livability issues, infrastructure issues, logistics, safety, soundness type of things that were really important for people. Again, coming back to this concept of economic clout and opportunity versus livability and desirability. And that clearly came through as you looked at where Singapore rated this year in terms of the jump it made from previous years.
And so, you know, we haven't talked about Europe yet, but that's also an interesting case. I mean, some surprising cities that you wouldn't think would be rated highly are rated highly.
And let's just take one as an example of being Stockholm. Huge, again, coming back to that quality of life issue, the morale of the people that are there, which again demonstrates a city that has done a fantastic job of bringing the right balance to satisfy personal need. And that comes across there. I would also say, though, you need to look in other areas. Australia, the same kind of desirability from a personal perspective, same desirability that people want to move there. And as a result, that's why Sydney, Stockholm, the two of them are a nice analogy to one another in terms of why they ended up in a fairly good place in the survey that we conducted.